Hello everyone, welcome back to another informative video. So I am making this video because of a question that a viewer recently asked, and the person was asking if they could plant, I think it was melon, in containers. And I told him yes, but the thing is, with the melon it's a vine, so it will need something to run on, right? So this that you're looking at is basically this metal thing is basically it is called a tomato cage, and this one is small. This one that you're looking at, this one is much bigger, right? And can hold more weight. And as you know, with melon is very weighted when it is getting mature. So what would happen to is that when the vine run up on this metal, um, the melon will need some kind of support, because if you leave the melon hanging, it might break off, so it will need some kind of support. So you might have to tie some kind of attachment onto the metal to hold the melon. And you might be limited to the variety of melon that you can grow in a container, right? Because some melon variety, they are very big and they are very heavy. And as you can see, this tomato cage, it's not only used for tomato, you can use it for other plants as well. Sweet pepper. And it's like, as you can see, I have this is thyme, broadleaf thyme, and this is mint that I also set in this spot. And these were set the same time when I did let me show you, the same time when I did this one, I did that one as well, right? And it is growing well. So my point is, this metal, it is pushed down into the pot, right? But it is still kind of, as you can see, it is still kind of rocky. So this maybe would be too weak to support the melon. So what you would have to do is you would have to have some kind of structure over your pot. It can be this metal cage, it can be this, but you would have to have something to also support the metal cage, because having melons on the vine at different locations will kind of put the cage out of balance, right? So you would have to have some kind of fixture, maybe a wooden fixture over or beside the cage, then, to really support the cage itself, right? Either you're maybe going to drive a stake close to the pot, right? And then tie the cage onto it to give it more support. But as this cage is now, this cage would not be able to support a, a large melon, or a variety of melon that is very large, right? But there are some varieties of melon out there that they don't grow, very big. They are more like size of cantaloupe, right? And those you can easily grow. And then, as I said, this one here is much bigger, right? Put it beside it. As you can see, it is much bigger, right? Much bigger, and much more stronger too, right? So and as I said, these you just push them down. As you can see at the bottom, you just push them down into the pot, right? And it has over 1 feet worth of depth, right? Because as you can see here, from here all the way down here, it's almost maybe about 1.5 feet. You can insert it into whatever pot you have, or if you are going directly into the ground, right? So this is just one way, or one method, or one type of structure or support that you can use to support anything that grows on vine within your pots, right? This would be good for cucumbers, too as well. But as I said, the melon, it is much more trickier because the melon needs support, right? Even those varieties that doesn't like grow big, they still need support, right? So as I said, unless you are going to kind of have some other structure alongside with these cages to really make the support more stronger, unless you are going to do that, right? Or you are going to plant a melon that is not that doesn't grow so big, right? Because we all know melons can grow big, and these small cages wouldn't provide enough support, so you would have to provide support for these cages, if you prefer it that way. Or you can also build other kind of structures out of wood to give better support for your vines, right? But this is just a video to just show this viewer and everybody else, because this viewer asked about it, anybody else. But this is a cage that um, is good for tomato. We all know tomato grow. It is good for sweet pepper as well, and you can grow cucumbers, all those vine growing plants that don't carry a lot of load, right, would do well in these kind of cages. um, and of course there are different designs, different styles that you can choose from, but at the end of the day, it is basically what is available to you. But this is just what I have at the moment, and I decided to just show this viewer what I put in my container. But I have never grown melon on it, but I understand that melon needs a lot of support, and these might be too, as I said, might be too um, slender, right, and weak. If you are going to use these, you have to basically support these cages with other means, right, to support the melon vine. And these plants that you're looking at, as I said earlier, this is broadleaf thyme, and this is the mint down here. And I don't plan to keep this broadleaf thyme in this pot, because eventually, even though I need a little bit of shade for my mint, eventually it will create too much shade, because as you can see, the leaves are very broad. And initially what I did was just to basically keep my broadleaf thyme alive, because this broadleaf thyme was basically dying. It was planted in the ground and it was basically dying. So I decided to just do some cuttings and set them in this pot to basically have enough planting material to plant from. So this is basically just planting material I am grooming right here. So soon from now, I will be able to get a few more cuttings from this pot to plant out some other pots. And it's the same with the mint. I'll allow this mint to grow, right? And as you can see, it is growing in the soil just like this one. So I'm just allowing this one to grow so I can also get cuttings from it as well, right? But at the same time, the one of the main idea behind doing this is I know that the broadleaf thyme would provide some kind of shade that the mint needs, right? This mint cannot take high intensity sunlight, so I planted it with the broadleaf thyme. But I know that the broadleaf thyme will eventually create too much shade and overwhelm the mint, and also take over the entire space. So that was just the whole idea of creating shade, and me knowing that this is just for planting material purpose, because eventually, as you can see, this one is growing tall. I'm going to just clip it off, remove some of the leaves and make another cutting, make another planting, right, out of it. But I need it to grow a little bit more taller, right? And as you can see, this small cage here is providing support for it as well. So as I said, you can use these cages for many different plants. It doesn't have to be a vine plant. It can be any plant that grows to a certain height, and that once they grow to a certain height they might need support, right? As I was saying in another video, even the sweet pepper, the sweet pepper grow to a certain height, but it has a few branches that will put on fruit, or it will put on sweet peppers, and you want to make sure that those branches that put on peppers, you want to make sure that they are supported. So these cages, you can always rest the branches against them, and it will provide support for them. So they are very handy, right? And you just have to choose the kind of plants that you support with them, right? I hope this sheds or give some more ideas, to especially the viewer that asked about the melon, right? you know and if there are any questions or comments, please put them in the comments area, and please remember to subscribe to my channel. Thank you.